Welcome back everyone to another install video. This time around I'm going to be installing a rear wiper blade delete from Kill All Wipers. The kit itself just comes with the plug and some sealant. The only other tools you'll need are maybe a panel removing tool, some alcohol, and a 7 and 8 mil socket or wrench. Preferably sockets, I'd say. You can use a wrench for a later step. The reason I'm going to be doing this is to replace this blade that's worn out. So to start, you're going to need to remove these caps or covers from the back panel of the trunk. It's going to expose 4 bolts or screws, whatever you want to call them. So it's going to be 2 on each handle. Once you remove those, the next step is to remove the whole panel. To do so, all you'll need to do is pull on the 2 handles and 3 other spots, which are basically the 2 sides and the center on, I guess, from the top. And as you see here, it does take quite a bit of force. Don't worry, you're not going to break anything, but still be careful, especially if you're in like colder states or anything like that. So once you get that removed, you'll see here the different points where it clips in. It's going to have the motor exposed for the rear wiper blade, and the clip itself they're going to have to undo from the motor. These 3 bolts here are the 8 mil bolts that I was talking about earlier. You can use a socket like I'm using, or you could use a wrench as well. There's nothing here where it's going to get in the way. Before you do that, you do need to remove the nut on the outside that holds the blade in place. That's going to be a half socket. So it shouldn't be tight. Mine wasn't. As you can see here, it was loose almost instantly. So once you take that off, if you have a newer ST, I'd probably say that the wiper blade is going to come off easy, without any force. Mine didn't, so I have this panel removing tool that I'm going to use to slightly pry it up. As you see, it basically just popped off with just a little bit of pressure. You can either hold on to your assembly or throw it away. Mine, I'm just going to throw away, never going to put it back on. The motor, once you take those 3 screws out, I would say be careful, because again, if you have a newer ST, it could be that it falls right off and smacks you in the face. Mine was kind of seized in place, so I had to just slightly pull it off, but it came off pretty easy. I didn't really have to use much force. From here, you remove this plastic tube. Once you take that off, you have like a rubber gasket basically that keeps out the water. I was recording, so it's not like I could really do this with one hand, and so what I found easiest was from the inside, which you see me sticking my finger in. I basically pinched the inside towards the hole, and that made it come off pretty easy. For you, that's probably going to be, using both hands or not recording. I'd probably say just leave the trunk up and pinch it inwards. You can use a screwdriver, but I mean, you'll probably risk scratching your glass, which I'm sure you don't want to do. The next step is going to be to clean the outside of the glass and the inside. The outside isn't so necessary, but I mean, it's a good thing to do regardless. I'm going to be using this knife blade. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that, because you do run the risk of scratching the glass. I was just doing it really careful and slowly and just on that outer edge. Next step is to wipe it down with some alcohol. The outside you don't have to do, you can do, which I did do. But the most important part is going to be on the inside of the glass. So you do want to clean the inside of the hole and the outside, because that's where your adhesive is going to be sticking to. So once you have that done, here's the plug itself. As you can see, it looks really nice. You're never going to see it though. But what you'll do is you want to kind of figure out the placement for it, because it's not an exact tight fit, obviously. So figure out the placement for it, get an idea of where it's going to be, how it's going to fit. After you do that, you can start with the sealant. So all you do is take off this cap, and it comes with the green kind of like syringe attachment, I guess you could call it. You screw that on, just make sure it's in tight, and then from there you just kind of want to bead the sealant around the center part of the plug. You could do a thick one, or you could do like, a thinner. On mine, I ended up doing 2 kind of thin beads. Once you do that, you place it on there. You do have to hold it with pressure for about a minute, and then once that's done, it should be hard enough to where it's going to stay in place, but soft enough to where you can still center it. All that excess you could just wipe off. Don't peel that white film off yet. That's going to keep it from getting dirty or having too much excess material on it. And as you can see, I took the time to kind of make sure it was centered, and I wiped off too much of the excess. So if you do that, don't worry, you could just keep adjusting and kind of filling it in with the sealant. You're obviously going to have more than enough. If anything, you could keep it and use it for other stuff. I know I'm keeping it. So once you do that, you do need to put some tape on it, and that tape, make sure you have it really pressured on there. It's going to have to stay like that for an hour. For the wire itself, all I did at the time was just kind of tuck it in, but what I would recommend is wrapping it with something and getting a zip tie and tying it to the actual frame of the car. That's going to keep all the unwanted vibrations down. So after that's been sitting for an hour, you come back, remove the tape, and you'll put this all back together, basically in the reverse order. So pop the big trim piece on, and then make sure everything clips into place, put the 4 screws in, and then pop the covers back on. So yeah, that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. If any of this is confusing or you need anything to reference to, the kit does come with instructions. I hope this was helpful to you guys. If it's something that you choose to do, again, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. Something I did mention a few videos back was that I was going to do a giveaway as soon as we hit 50 subscribers. And so far, I believe we're at 53. I do appreciate each and every one of you. It may not be the biggest milestone, but again, I did say I would do that giveaway at 50. So I know I had mentioned I would be doing probably decals or banners, for whoever, won. But instead, what I'm going to do is just keep it simple and do an either Xbox or PSN gift card. So in order to qualify for it, make sure you are subscribed, and in the comment section, leave me either your email or your Instagram handle and your PSN or Xbox account info, like just your username, basically, or just not even that, just let me know what you prefer, whether an Xbox card or a PlayStation card. So I'll be picking a winner in about 3 weeks. So make sure, again, you're subscribed. Leave a comment with a way of contacting you, whether it be email or your Instagram, and of course which system you prefer the card to be for. Again, I appreciate everything. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope you stick around for some more.